So as you guys can probably tell by this gigantic mess of stuff I got here that we're actually ready to start building it, which is going to be totally awesome. So without further ado, let's just hop in and construct the Dark Cube. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do here is install the CPU. This is probably the most crucial part, and also probably the first thing you want to do is just get your motherboard set up properly. Alright, so we want to lift this up. I know. Move it over like this. Now, so there's a little arrow here. So I believe that we want to line up the arrow. Yeah, see this little arrow here? We want to line it up with this little tiny arrow here in this corner. It's hard to see, but it should work. There we go. We did it. Yay! Okay. Now we just got to push all the way back down now and lock it in place. That should be good. Now we've just got to install the Wraith cooler. So, got the Wraith cooler here. Now it's got thermal paste on it still. Hopefully this thermal paste will be okay, and we won't need to change it. Alright, so I just watched a video on how to do this properly. So it looks like we're gonna need to remove these retention arms that are here. So let's start by doing that first. Because I know that this is used by like the bigger Wraith cooler, the RGB one, but I guess it's not used by the Stealth from the looks of it. So let's get that side off. Now let's remove this side. I can say I'm a fan of the AMD coolers. I think they do a good job. I've been using mine for a while now. Okay, so that one's removed as well now. It's probably going to be facing this way. This is probably going to be easier, so that way it's not in the way of the RAM. Now we should... Hopefully we'll still be okay with this thermal paste. Okay. So let's just start screwing these in. Just gonna do a little bit for each of them first. Now you do need to provide a bit of pressure for it, I'll say. Now let's do this side. Okay, this time we actually got it in this side, which is good. So now we just gotta make sure this side gets in too. So I just had to pick up the board a bit so I could give it some good bottom pressure. Okay. Alright, I think we're in business now. Let's just tighten them up now. Yeah, the back plate is now flush all over, so that means it's being screwed in properly, so that's awesome. Now I'm just gonna... Not exactly sure how far down they need to go. I guess we just keep doing it until we can't turn it anymore. Yeah, this one's all good now. Okay, I was almost on that one. Okay, so basically you just screw it down until it doesn't let you go anymore. You don't really have to worry about accidentally over-tightening it. It'll tell you. So I think the most important thing is just making sure that you do have them all properly screwed in at first, and then you just go and you tighten it all. But preferably like as evenly as you can. Okay, so now we need to put in the CPU pin. Alright, so I'm just gonna plug that in here. Okay, good, so we're done this part. I just figured while I'm at it, let's install the RAM as well. So, I think they both just pop out. There we go. Now we just gotta line up the notch. Seems like the notch is more like this. There we go. Now, we're just gonna give it some good pressure. There we go. So, both sides have now popped back in properly. It's always good to make sure the RAM is properly seated. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky and then your PC won't boot up and you're wondering why. Okay, let's add in this piece as well. Okay, seems pretty good to me. Alright, great. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is install the motherboard inside of this case. So let's start by taking the panels off the sides. Okay, I need to take this plastic off here too. Here, I'll give you guys the big reveal, you know, the most satisfying part of this whole build. That part's done. Whoa. And this side. Oh yeah, there we go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Now, yeah, I think it'll be a bit easier to access this way. So let's take this side off. Okay. Now we're gonna need to get all these cables out of the way. I'm debating whether I should do this first or the power supply, but I think we might as well install the motherboard. So it looks like it's gonna go like this. So the I/O shield is actually built into this motherboard, which is really nice. Okay, so the next thing for us to do is to basically just screw in all the corners. So the one here, one here, one up here, kind of, you can't really see it, one up there. Well, here goes nothing. Let's just get one down first. Okay, I'm not going to tighten it all the way yet, just in case I need to move the board around a bit first to line it up properly. Alright, so now I'm just screwing in the second one now. Whoop. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh my god, my worst nightmare. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna try to screw in the other screws now. Get this thing in properly. Okay. Good. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up as long as we can get the holes within view. Holes, let's go. There we go. Okay, good. So we're just gonna tighten this up now. Make sure it doesn't wiggle around at all. Okay, good. These ones are a little bit tricky to reach, especially with me having the camera here. Okay. Well, not exactly getting a good grip on this, but yeah, that's probably about as tight as we're gonna get it there. One more go, and then we should be good. Okay, good. All done. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is install the PSU. So let's get this part out. Okay, here we go. So that part is off now. So now I've only got the cables in here that I think are going to be necessary. Everything else I've taken off. Now we just need to find the ones for the PSU. So the ones for the PSU look like this, by the way. Also, the ones for the motherboard, in case you're wondering, they look very similar to this, except there's a bit more of like a border around the outside that's flat, but they're round, kind of round, like this. Oh shit. Yeah, sweet. Alright, so now, okay, let me show you guys the back. I should have given you guys a better view of it earlier. So here it is. So now I got all the screws in, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty easy to do. Now we're just gonna have to route the cables in through the case and pull it through and then attach it to the motherboard and whatnot. Alright. I'm gonna try to show you guys me routing the cables. So basically this one's for the graphics card here. And I'm just gonna put that through here. And try not to like wind up the cables against each other too much. And try to keep them all a bit separate so that way I don't get any entanglements. Entanglements? I guess that's what the word I'm looking for. There we go, and the CPU one's all in there now. Alright, so let's get this gigantic power cable plugged in here. Okay, so we're basically going to plug it in right here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. It didn't take too much pressure. In pretty easily. Okay, good. Next part is probably the CPU power, which is going to go right here. All right, let's get this CPU plugged in. CPU cable plugged into the CPU now. Should be pretty straightforward. There we go. All right, easy as pie. It's all locked in there. Good. All right, so the next thing that I need to do is actually plug in these guys, which is probably the trickiest part, and I can see it here. It's this white header here that we need to plug it into. Whoop. Maybe I shouldn't have plugged in the power cable already because, like, dang, I'm gonna need some room for this. I'm probably not even gonna be able to record this at all because, like, it's so small. Okay, good. It's all plugged in there. Alright, so next up we have our audio cable. So it looks like the audio cable plugs into this white connector over here. Once again, kind of hard to see. Alright, let's connect up the front, the HD audio. Okay, it looks good now. Now it's properly connected. It's pretty flush looking. So I just tried removing the USB 3.0 connector because I wanted to replace it in a bit differently, but this whole plastic piece just came off with it. So that's so dumb. Shame on you, Gigabyte, for not like gluing it in properly. It's pretty annoying. Anyways, I'm just gonna put it back here. This time I'm not gonna be taking this thing out. Yeah, so if you place that down, just be careful. Just know that it's better to move other wires around it as opposed to that wire itself. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove one of these panels so I can screw in a hard drive here. Alright, so we got it all screwed in. Let's add this back in here now. So I think you start by kind of putting it in the, you kind of slot it in this wedge in the corner here. And then you gotta just push it sort of into place after that. Make sure to line up the screw holes. Kind of like this. And then this anchor piece just kind of goes back and holds it in here. Alright, so I just connected up the SATA power here for that. And now, next part is to connect the hard drive to the motherboard. So yeah, this one looks like it's all connected now. Now we'll just connect it up to the hard drive. There we go. Pretty easy to do. Okay, next thing to do is basically to attach the GPU. A good view of this, there's a little plastic cap here that we actually need to pull off just by pinching the sides. Now push this down. Okay, we're gonna need to take off these little plastic covers here, or metal covers. Okay. Yeah, that seems to be the way to do it. Yep, and we're just gonna screw these guys in. Okay. Alright, so the side panel is on. Let me try to give you guys a bit of a view of what it looks like. Pretty sweet. You can see the good view of the graphics card. It's actually a perfect size because you can just see the fans and everything. It's not cut off or anything, which is really good. Really sweet. Alright guys, well, we did it. It took a while and it was complicated, kind of stressful at times, but the PC is finished being built and it looks really nice, and it's actually a lot heavier now than it was before because we have all the parts in here, especially the power supply and whatnot. I'm excited to get this hooked up and just make sure that it all works properly. You know, fingers crossed that nothing blows up, and yeah, it powers on and I can, you know, install Windows on it. Alright guys, well I figured the video was getting kind of long. We were like at like 15 minutes or so there, so I figured I would cut it off there, and in the next video I'll go over the Windows installation and play some games on it, which is going to be really awesome. So I hope you guys will stay tuned for that. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys all so much for watching. We're almost at 500 subscribers. We're really close. So if you guys want to join in on the fun, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. Anyways, well, I'll catch you guys in the next video I make, okay? Alright, Johnny Tech, signing out.